Welcome to Elliott's PT podcast. I'm here to help you find your balance and live your best life guilt-free. I don't believe there is a one-size-fits-all approach for health and fitness. We're all different and we need to find out what works for us. I'm passionate about helping people make realistic, long-term lifestyle changes that they will stick to and they will take with them forever. I don't believe in crazy diets or short-term fixes. We all need to live and find a perfect balance in diet and exercise that suits our individual needs. I want to help you find your exercise mojo, feel great and achieve wonderful things. Here is Elliott's PT podcast by Renae Elliott.
Hello, and welcome back to Elliott's PT podcast. So today we are talking about the core. Now the core is a muscle that is very important and, it's a really fundamental group of muscles that we need to have strong. It's funny, lots of members coming into the class and they'll say, I don't have any core, or I don't have any ab muscles. Well, you all do have them. It's just a matter of putting some importance as to why it is so important to spend that time to strengthen them and to get them as strong as possible. Now, lots of people, they see, especially at the moment, there's still hot weather. You see lots of people walking around in bikini crops and crop tops and all of that. And, you people could be obsessed with having these six-pack abdominals shown and whatever else. And, people say, oh, it's okay, I don't want to look like that. Well, that's fine, because looking like that just having a six-pack doesn't mean that you have a strong core. But it is really important to understand that there are so many other reasons why we need to spend this time to work on our core and have the strong core muscles to get through everyday life, and I'll hear people saying, it's okay. They don't want to be vain or whatever else, and they don't care about what they can see, and having that visible six-pack abs. But what I want you to think about is what's happening lower than that, down this very, very bottom layer of your core. And, there is so many benefits in your life, and it is really crucial to make sure that you do have a strong core. The core muscles is really your whole entire support system. So they play a huge role in your everyday activities, from getting out of bed, walking down the street, bending over to grab your purse. They help you stay upright. And if you've ever had a sore back or any back pain or that, having a strong core can definitely help alleviate a lot of that pain. They're the base of support for your entire body. They completely surround and support your spine and pelvis, and they connect your upper body to your lower body. So they, transfer the forces from one to the other. The thing is that your abdominals are not just this one muscle that you see. The rectus abdominis, that one six-pack muscle that you see. The deepest layer of abdominals, which is what I feel is the most important, is your transverse abdominals. And they're sometimes called, they're like a corset. They corset around your whole entire body. They stabilize your spine and your pelvis. On top of the transverse abdominals, we then have another layer, two layers of oblique muscles, which control your lateral flexion, so side bending, rotation, and other spinal movements. And last but not least, we have the rectus abdominis, which runs vertically in front of your abdomen, and it's the muscles that you can see as the six-pack. And that helps you flexes your torso forward, like in a crunch. Not only is that part of your core, but your glutes, they are also an important part of your core muscles too. Now, if anyone has had a baby at all, your core have been compromised during birth, during pregnancy, because your core has to, your abdominals have to stretch with your stomach in order to allow the baby to grow. Now, depending on if you are a short person, if you, depends on the shorter you are, the more inclined you are to have a tummy separation, because of the baby's got to grow out. If you're tall, you might not be as light. It depends on if you had twins or the size you grew to, or any of those things. That if you've had a baby at all, it is really important to start strengthening your core, regardless of how long ago you had your children, and to work on getting that core as strong as possible. Your abdomen, and even if you don't have any pain in your core, it is a fundamental function that we want to, for our bodies, that we want to be as strong as possible for aging, for life. Core, it's really, your core strength is crucial in every movement that you do, and it is really taken advantage of by having a strong core. Can help your posture and help you stand up straight, so then you're not if you see lots of elderly people, they tend to be hunched and bent over. They are really often the first and most important guest to anything that you're doing in your body. With pregnancy, our core we have to stretch in order for our babies to grow in us, which is all fun. And then depending on where you're at, we sometimes are left with tummy separation because of how your tummy's had to grow. And when after pregnancy, our tummy comes back down, and we hope that this separation comes together. Now, in some women, they haven't thought about it. You get thrown into motherhood, and if you've had numerous births over a couple of years in between, that core has been compromised for a long time. It really needs some attention spent on it. Now, the good thing to know is, regardless of where you're at or how long ago you had children, you can still work on really strengthening your core. It is not something that can't, it's, oh, well, you had children 20 years ago, you can't work on it. You can definitely rebuild and get that strength back. When you're picturing probably somebody with a strong core, you're probably thinking of doing tons of crunches, to build their muscles, and building that, as I said before, building that abdominal strength is so much more about the physical, so much more than about that physical appearance. And as we said, it helps you with your everyday tasks and helps you move easier and improve your overall well-being. Having this strong core is more than the ability to hold a plank for an extended period of time. It's actually a really crucial part of leading a healthy lifestyle. And building core strength isn't just about hammering out tons of sit-ups. I would actually say sit-ups are probably the worst thing that you could do in order to build your core strength up, especially if you've had children. If you are doing sit-ups and you have a tummy separation, you are just going to keep putting pressure on that separation on the linear elbow. You are going to keep putting pressure, and you're going to keep pushing it out. So even if you don't have a tummy separation, you're weak. If you're doing a sit-up, it's going to put pressure on your back. Sit-ups are probably the worst exercise you can do. We want to work on our core in various ways, and it's really crucial to building your abdominal strength. And depending on where depends where your core at. You want to do things on the side and in the forward position and on your back, and we want to work it from all ways. So some benefits of having a strong core is it's going to support and give you better posture. Having the strong core as it wraps around our torso, those transverse abs, and it's going to, when all our core muscles are strong, and it's going to help support our spine, and it's going to help keep you upright with good posture. It helps support our neck. It'll help reduce back pain. That comes over from, especially if you are somebody that's sitting on a computer desk all day. If you are, if we are at a computer desk, you tend to be that little bit more hunched over, and, it's compromising your core and, putting strain on all other parts of your body. So we really, if you're wanting good posture, having a good strong core is key to that. Having a strong core is going to help improve your balance. We do this by doing single-legged, exercises on single legs and all that stuff, which is going to help. We add balls or other things for you to stand on, which is going to take your balance away. So we want to work on strengthening that. When we've got this, when you're working from a solid base, it's easier to stay upright instead of being on an unsteady ground. So we want to have that strong core to help with that balance and to help keep us upright. The thing to think about is if you don't have a strong core, your balance is going to really struggle as you get older. And as we get older, that's where we have falls and breakages, breaking hips and bones and all this other stuff, which is something that we don't want. So if you have a strong core, that can help support your body, keep you upright. It is so important. My gran had a fall a couple of years ago, and she really hasn't recovered since. She fell twice in the same week. So she caught herself in a chair. She fell forward the first time, and then she went to hospital. And then in the second week, that same week, sorry, by the end of the week, she was nervous because of the fall, and she was maneuvering around slowly, and she fell backwards with her walker. So, you know, and again, if she'd had a stronger core, you know, that her era, there's no way women worked on their core strength. That was something that wasn't done. But, you know, that would have really helped that balance, which could have stopped her from falling. I know my dad, my dad's in his 60s. He had really bad knees. His bad knees and hips, and he's had knee replacement, hip replacement, and he's just had his ankles fused. So, you know, but he's taking my gran one day to an appointment, and he lost his footing on her walker. Now, my dad has good core strength. He was able to catch himself, so he stopped himself falling because he had that good core strength. It's really important to have those great foundations for balance. The other thing we do is we do things as we take away, we work on your proprioception. So when we're burning on your core, it's like starting to close your eyes and seeing how strong your core be, you know, when you're taking that away, because that's something that as you get older, you lose more of that. So we want to strengthen the proprioception. So then, so then hopefully that you're not going to fall over as you age. Having a strong core is going to support you in different exercises that you do. It helps you with running, helps you with your form, helps you with, it allows your core strength, allows your pelvis, your hips, and your lower back to work together. So any exercise that you do, it's having the strong core is going to benefit it. It is a foundation of any lift. Anything you do, we need to switch our core on. We need to make sure that it's switched on from our pelvic floor and go from there. It is really the foundation of anything we do. And when your core is strong and you have that supporting you, then you're not going to hurt yourself. Having your core is protecting your organs. So, the main part of your core, the core set is all around where our major organs are. So we're having that strong. It's going to help keep them safe. So protecting organs like our liver, spleen, kidneys, that they live right underneath our abdominal wall. And so that's giving us a shield from the outside. So the stronger that your core is, the better it's going to protect that tissue from any external forces or damage. And, again, helping us lead to a better quality life. So, by having this strong core, it's going to make your everyday life easier. So your core is the base of all of the moves that you make. And the moves that you all take for granted, everything that you take for granted. So bending down, picking up, getting something off the ground, standing for long periods of the time, doing household chores, those things that, the stronger that your core is, that you won't feel as much pressure, it won't feel as tolling on your body or any of those things. One of my goals is, my children are just about 9 and 5 now. So, I have to be picking them up. I still want to be able to pick them up. But if, like last year, Cooper broke his leg and I had to pick him up to move him from different places at different times. And, I was so glad that I was strong that I could do that. The other day on the soccer field, somebody hurt themselves. I needed to pick them up. Now I'm strong enough to be able to do that, but I've got that great foundation. And that's what I want for everyone else, because there's these everyday things in life that you just take for granted and you don't realize how important having this strong core is. And it is something that you can do something about. Having a strong core can reduce or prevent pain. Having a strong core really does make you feel better overall, but it makes your quality of life easier. So it can reduce back pain, neck pain. It is supporting your lower back. It's helping strengthen your spine, and it makes you feel like a whole lot better. So lots of times I see, people that have, like lower back pain that might have came from that their glutes aren't working properly, or their core's not supporting the back, and then the back's trying to do the work for them. But when we spend the time to really work on that core and have that strong core, you're not going to have that pain. You're not going to be lifting and hurting your back because your core will be supporting you, and the right muscles will be switching on instead of, you're trying to do a lift and your back hurt. I had a lady the other day said she needed to pick up her granddaughter. So she needed to pick her granddaughter up, and she had to pick her up. She picked her up quickly and she put her back out for a moment, and it was because that her core wasn't strong and she wasn't working. She didn't work on it. So this is what I'm saying. It's these everyday things, carrying groceries, all of those things that, that lifting and all of that stuff. You want to be as strong as possible and as mobile and be able to do things on your own for as long as you can. So having a strong core is a foundation of this. And so I don't want to hear people saying, I don't have a core, it's not strong, I don't have a core, or I had my kids too long ago, it's not possible. It is very possible, and it takes daily movement and it takes daily repetition, and you can really get a really, really strong core in no time. Other benefits of having strong core is, it's boosting your power. So it's going to help you, do any type of powerful movements, like running, punching, jumping, all of those things. Playing tennis, weightlifting, any of those things, it's going to improve your power. It'll improve your speed in anything else, and helping you obviously all function better. And lastly, it's going to help you age well. As I've said before, and this is my thing, is, if we want to stay as mobile as possible. So by having this strong core, it's going to help really keep us mobile and moving, and not, I know for me, I'd like to be as independent for as long as possible, and that is my real why in life, and that is why I do what I do. How did I rebuild my core strength? So after I had my children, when I first had Charlie, I could, I remember her more than Cooper because it was closer. But when I first had her, I could hardly walk down the street. I knew there was things that I couldn't do that I could before. I exercised all the way through my pregnancy because I knew how to. I exercised safely and all those other things. But I really spent the time to really rebuild my core strength. I really spent my time to really rebuild my core strength after, and it took just as long as probably it probably took me 6 months, if not longer, to really, really get that strength back. And I did a movement every day. I made sure I did something every day. Everyone's different in what you can do, but it was something that I see so many women suffer from. I see so many women suffering from back pain. I see them suffering from not being able to do things with their kids, or not feeling like they can, feeling weak, all of those things. And I just didn't want that to be me. I knew I had a choice, and I knew I could do something about it. And I knew the sooner that I did, the better. So I did something every day, and it depended on how I felt. So I would get up early before my baby woke up. So I'd get up before she woke up, and I would do something, 15 minutes, 20 minutes if I could. I was lucky that she was a reasonably good sleeper. So I did that. I did little increments throughout the day, how I could and when I could. And I made a promise to myself that I would do something every night. When both the kids went to bed, I would be on the floor in front of the TV, and depending on how I felt, I might spend 5 minutes doing core strengthening exercises, or I might spend 20 minutes or half an hour. However I felt, but I made sure that I did something every day. And each day, and I did something regardless, because I made this promise to myself that I've seen so many women that don't spend this time and work on rebuilding their strength. I just didn't want this to be me. And I wanted to be able to keep up with my kids. I want to be able to exercise safely. I don't want to have any pain. So that's why I made sure I did something. I have, designed a specific program that is called Rebuild Your Core. That is all about this. It's all about first getting the connection from, working on connecting all the core muscles properly and get them functioning how they should, and then really work on strengthening it, and then looking to, there's 3 stages, and the third stage, applying it into your everyday life and into everyday movements. Now, the stronger that your core is, you'll be able to lift heavier weights, you'll be able to jump further, you'll be able to do more things because you have that strong core. And the reason that I really designed this program is because I know so many women feel lost. They feel lost and they feel that it's unachievable for them and they can't do it. I was lucky enough that I had the knowledge to know what I could do. I knew what needed to be done, and I determined to spend the time. And that's why this program has an app. So it has an app that you can follow, and you get prompts, and there's videos to follow, and it's all done for you. And it is the exact things that I did to rebuild my core strength. I had problems with my pelvic floor at first. I don't have any problems anymore, but I did. I had to first work on tummy breathing and connecting my pelvic floor first, because I was wetting myself when I was running. And, I spent the time doing the boring stuff. Yep, it's boring. It's not as exciting as lifting a big weight or running or doing something. It's not as exciting as all of those things. And let me tell you how much I could not wait to get back to running. But I had to understand that I needed to spend this time to really, really strengthen the core. And I'm begging you all to become aware of your core and start strengthening it from the inside out. The transverse abs is the key. It is the key to really getting that strong core. But you know what? You can't see the transverse abs. So they're not as, people just want that rectus abdominis. I had a client that we trained, and now she had a visible abs that you could see. But just because we could see them, it didn't mean that she was strong. Now, we could see them because she had low body fat. Okay, but as soon as in her first pregnancy, she'd had this separation, we'd worked on bringing it back together. But she fell pregnant with number 2 a lot quicker than what she thought. So when she had number 2, very early on in the pregnancy, her tummy peaked again. So her tummy peaked again. And during this time, I said, okay, what we need to do is, you are going to have a separation, but what we're going to work on is we're going to work on not getting it any worse. So we trained, and she trained throughout, the 9 months of her pregnancy. And once that separation had separated, it didn't get any worse. We kept it the same, which was really, really good. And then after she had a baby, we were able to work back on rebuilding that strength. And this would say, regardless of how, I've had another lady who's joined the program, and she had her kids were older. Her kids were in their 20s, and once she really strengthened the transverse abs and she got all that connection, she stopped having pelvic floor issues, and she got this beautiful defined waist. And it was because she strengthened from the inside out. If you are thinking that it is just impossible for you to have a strong core, that it's too late, it is worth putting the time in, because it may be something that you can get through in life now. But I really want you to think about how the 80-year-old of you will be. And, you don't want to be hunched over. You don't want to be not doing things. We want to lead that best quality life possible. By having a strong core, it's going to really, really help with that. It's going to help the ability for you to live longer on your own. It's going to help the ability of you to do more activities during the day. My poor gran, she has such a sore back. She's got arthritis in her back and all of that, and she doesn't have any muscles to support her and to support that. So, the best position she feels is laying down. So this is what I don't want. I don't want this for you. I don't want this for anybody. And you have an opportunity to make a difference now. Yes, it takes some work, but it took me 6 or so months after I had my babies to rebuild that strength. Now I can do whatever I could. I couldn't run for that 6 months. Yeah, that was annoying, but now I can run without a problem. And if I kept running and ignoring my pelvic floor, ignoring what my body was telling me, I wouldn't be able to run now, because I would have made it 10 times worse. I had someone else that, she had big problems with the pelvic floor, and she was saying to me, oh, but it's manageable now. It's okay. I was like, it might be manageable now, but with your pelvic floor, as we get older, that lining gets thinner. The lining there gets thinner, and it gets worse. So if you are having back pain now, but you're like, it's okay, I can kind of manage it, I just don't move as well, or I don't move as much, or I sit down in between, it's not things to accept, because you can change all this. And if it's sore now, imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years. I want you to think of you 10 years ago. What things could you do 10 years that you can't do now? So imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years' time. But you can make a change to that. You can make a change to that, and you could have this really, really strong core if you put in the work. So super important, put in the work. Now I have a video that explains more about the transverse abs and why it's really important to work them. And there's a few examples of some things that you can do, some examples of little workouts at home. So I'll add the video into the show notes, so then that you can watch that. And there's a little PDF that goes with it that you can answer some questions about your core. So, and see how your core feels. So if you get the chance to download that, please do, and make sure you watch it and send me your PDF, because I would love to see what you've discovered about your core and how you find your core, how you have found your core. And there is some little exercises that you can try at home, which is one of the things that I did in really strengthening my transverse abdominals. So if you have anybody that you know has a weak core, if you hear them saying they feel like there's no way out and they don't know any way, it is not something to accept. And please make sure that you do share them with this, because I want us to all be as strong as possible for life. All right, speak to you all soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Elliott's PT podcast. I hope you have been able to find this information of use to you. If you know someone who might enjoy this podcast, please share it with them, and ensure that you subscribe so you can be the first to know when new podcasts are released. If you have the time to leave a 5-star review, that would be amazing, and it would be greatly appreciated. If you do so, please screenshot and share onto any of our socials and tag us. Then email the screenshot to hello@elliotspt.com, and we will send you a free gift to your inbox. Thanks so much. Have an amazing day. Speak soon.